make a move and the bunny gets it.
I said, put the bunny back in the box. Why couldn't you put the bunny back in the box?
It's showtime.
Roar. Roar.
Colonel Ironside's here. 200 years I stood in the gap, fighting those who would harm my country. It was my honor, my sacred duty, so help me God. 9 times they took my life. 9 times I stood back up and made them pay. The freedom fighter and I could handle anything, but someone betrayed me. I was ambushed, made mortal, rendered powerless, and retired. They passed an amendment that made me a civilian before I left the hospital. For 50 years I watched my country change. Watched this work while erasing me from history. The day I quit my job, I powered up and discovered they lied about that too. I'll remind them of freedom. I'll remind them of duty. I'll remind them of their oaths and who they serve. I'll remind them while I'm shoving it down their throats.
Psychically, I'm very well endowed.
I wanna know what you're thinking. There are some things you can't hide. I wanna know what you're feeling. Tell me what's on your mind.
What is that thing? A glimpse of the power we face. It's incredible, but I don't know. We must act now before it's too late. All right, I'm in.
Try this manually. Nope. There we go. Alright. Sorry. StreamYards wouldn't let me go. It's been doing that a lot lately. It's weird. I already got a comment over here from Mr. Kokushuko Papishango. Food for thought. Thoughts. Bunny. Okay. Anyway. Alright. Well, welcome to the show. Now, I did a alright. Mr. Vince. Okay. Alright. I'm a little slow tonight, but Mr. Papishango, sorry. Not quite understanding what you mean on that. But that's alright. Anyway, so I did a poll right here on X, and it was what's the greatest fictional wizard of the modern age? And I had Gandalf, Doctor Strange, Albus Dumbledore, and Harry Dresden. our subject for today. And Gandalf, of course, dominated with 64%. Oh, my real name is Vince. Right, Vince. That's sorry. You haven't been around a while, man. I forgot. Yeah. Gotcha. Anyway, Doctor Strange got 21%. Albus Dumbledore got 14%. And nobody voted for Harry Dresden. That was out of 14 votes. That was the result. Which lets me know that tonight's subject is a good one. So, alright. So if anybody's wondering if I know of what I speak, so that's my private collection. So anyway, so I'm gonna get a run through books. I'm not gonna. I try to do my best not to spoil anything. Kind of give you an idea of the scope of the series. Yeah, behold, right? Sounds familiar though, right? Yeah, it does sound familiar. And behold, yeah, right. You're absolutely right. Anyway, so well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a run through of the books as I go a little bit. I'm gonna kind of I have a few clips I want to show because not only we're dealing with a book series, but we're also dealing with a television series around 2007, and I really enjoyed it. There's a lot of Harry Dresden Files people who just absolutely despised it. Okay. And I didn't really get that. Paul Blackthorne played Harry Dresden, and you recognize him from other things. But I never had trouble with the guy. I never had a problem with the guy. I thought he looked kind of like Harry Dresden in my head, so he kind of matched my headcanon. But this is kind of a primer. Kind of like to get you into the universe a little bit, kind of like the narrative style of Harry Dresden. This is a kind of illustration of first. Hold on a second. Let's see. R.J. Williams is here. Hey, Bunny. Had to let you know I'm still alive. Yep. Glad to see you, man. Good to see you. Misty Files. There you go. Anyway, so this clip right here will kind of get you into the kind of like the narrative style a little bit. Now, I mean, the animation is very rudimentary. I think it was a fan thing. There's a lot of fan stuff when it comes to Dresden Files. It shows you if you see a lot of fan stuff surrounding a property, that usually means that it's captured some imagination. Either that or the shippers got a hold of it. And if shippers got a hold of it, trust me, if the shippers get a hold of your IP, they take it to some dark places, I swear. Anyway, those people are sick. Golly, shippers are sick, man. I don't know what's wrong with those women. It's always women. I don't know what causes them to be shippers, but whatever's broken in them. Anyway, rant over. But check this out.
Chapter 5. McAnally's is a pub a few blocks from my office. I go there when I'm feeling stressed, or when I have a few extra bucks to spend on a nice dinner. There are 13 stools at the bar, and 13 tables in the room. 13 windows set high in the wall, in order to be above ground level, let some light from the street into the place. 13 wooden columns, carved with likenesses from folk tales and legends of the old world. Mac makes his own beer, Ale, actually, and it's the best stuff in the city. After the kind of day I had, I deserved some of Mac's ale and someone else's cooking. "Dresden," Mac greeted me when I sat down at the bar. Mac is a tall, almost gangly man of indeterminate age. He has squinty eyes and a smile that is rare and mischievous when it manifests. Mac never says much, but when he does, it's almost always worth listening to. "Hi there, Mac," I hailed him. "Been one hell of a day. Give me a steak sandwich, fries, ale." Mac said. He opened a bottle of his ale and began to pour it, warm, staring past me into the middle distance. "Harry," he said, "you were followed." I put both hands around my mug and brought a few phrases of quasi-Latin to mind. It never hurt to be ready to defend myself in case someone was intending to hurt me. "My name is Harry Blackstone Copperfield Dresden. Conjure it by your own risk. I'm a wizard."
All right. So Harry Blackstone Copperfield Dresden. That's the whole entire name, but Harry Dresden. Now his it's a very interesting kind of like man caught between two worlds kind of thing, and because he was raised by a human stage musician, but he has wizard blood in him through his mother, who is known as Helen of the Fae, I think it was. But he basically, he's got like a lot of, a lot of the thing that makes him like really special in the world. The fact that his father raised him to be a man. Above and beyond anything with the wizard world, and so that puts him almost in conflict with the wizards, who live for generations, and they tend to be kind of like up their own butts quite a bit, and so they kind of look down upon him, for the most part, because he not only does he, all right. Yep, Dresden's a great character. TV series is okay. Didn't do the character justice. There you go. Stage musician and wizardry. Yeah. But the thing that puts him in conflict is the fact that he advertises himself as a wizard to the normal world. And the reason why he does that is because basically he believes ordinary people deserve to have a wizard on their side too, but the wizard world thinks that you have to be that the world, the ordinary world is just like they're there, that there are no consequence, and so Harry, because self-defense, his uncle that took him in. Basically, out of self-defense, he wound up having to kill his uncle, who was mother's brother, turned out to be a dark wizard. And so, because of that, he has something called the Doom of Damocles over his head. In other words, he wasn't killed on the spot for doing black magic, because it did corrupt his soul, but or not sufficiently enough. And so they consider him a threat, but if he ever dabbles in black magic again, and he has his own private executioner that's just waiting for him to screw up, named Morgan. But into this, that's pretty much where you start in the series. This book right here, Stormfront. Okay. Now, what's unique about Harry Dresden series, okay, is the idea that you can set a kind of like fantasy, like straight up fantasy in a modern setting, okay? And so you have every man, you have a guy who's like, even though he's every bit a wizard as anybody else, in fact, he's a very powerful wizard, enough that it scares them quite a bit. But he's also dabbling in the regular human world. So to make the ends meet, he is taking upon himself like detective, like the noir, like Vince's noir boner he's talking about. But that whole narrative style, the whole Sam Spade, this is like if Sam Spade, you mix Sam Spade with Gandalf. And like sarcastic, it's sarcastic, great sarcasm. But this book starts out, you get to meet several people in his life. You get to meet the Morgan, Warden Morgan, who's like just waiting for him to screw up. I mean, waiting for him to screw up. Matter of fact, this first book, he almost doesn't get out of this first book because Morgan almost takes his head off. You know, no questions asked, just like, oh, you screwed up, whack. You know, I mean, and but he also he runs into something like a lot darker in this first book. And ordinary mortals can dabble into magic in this world, but they have to do some dark stuff to get into it. And so he runs across some people who are willing to do anything necessary. The McNally's, that pub, that's part of the setting. But Harry's got a very distinctive place he lives, and it's a sublet basement of a brownstone, and it's got like a trapdoor in the floor to a sub basement where he does his lab work. And along with him, what makes Harry truly dangerous, and what really gives him an advantage, is the fact that he has Bob. And Bob is he's a fey entity. Okay, if you know anything about fairy, you know he's actually kind of like a immortal being, more like a spirit. But Bob has absorbed like more spell knowledge than any other being on the planet. And so Bob is like an automatic, you know, library of arcane knowledge. And they don't know he has Bob, because his dark wizard uncle had Bob. And Bob basically switched sides. It's the only reason why Harry is still alive. But he has Bob. Bob's like just a repository. And so what Harry doesn't know, Bob can tell him. And so essentially it's like having a private... There you go. Bob is Google for spellcraft. Yeah, exactly. But they don't know that Harry has Bob. If they did, he would probably be murdered. Morgan would probably take his head off if he knew he had Bob. But Bob gives him an advantage, okay? That and the fact that Harry might be potentially one of the most powerful wizards alive. And so there's a lot of people that want a piece of Harry, including some fey entities, which we'll find out about later. But Harry also, the thing that makes Harry good, that kind of another advantage Harry has, is he wasn't raised with the wizards. He was raised with a humble, hardworking stage magician dad, who taught him respect, taught him honesty, and taught him that nobody is beneath you. And so other wizards see other don't take advantage of like the smaller fae or smaller creatures or creatures of the night, or monsters or people like that. And Harry makes friends with these people, makes friends with the lower entities that the wizards overlook, and because of that, he has allies that the wizards aren't even paying attention to. And so this first book is a really good first book, but you don't really get. Oh, by the way, Karen. I have to talk about Karen. Karen is kind of his love interest, little tiny blonde-haired lady who makes up for her lack of stature by being one of the meanest human beings alive. And she doesn't girl boss anything. She trains extremely hard because she knows she has a physical disadvantage, and she also she's training weapons, she's training in martial arts. But she also don't trust the Karen, right? Well, you can trust this Karen. But she's kind of like the love interest of the whole entire series, and she is a great character, great female character. Her power is summoning the manager. No, not this Karen. But the thing about that, what makes her a great character is the fact that she starts out being like really, really, really scared. She's almost as bad as Donald Morgan, the guy that's after his head, because she knows a lot of weird things happen around Harry, and when she encounters weird things in the course of her police work in this world of magic, there's a lot of weird stuff that happens. Then she basically consults with Harry. And so Harry has like connections to the police department. He has also people that walk in off the streets. Summon powers are overpowered, right? Well, I don't know. She might be able to summon a SWAT team, but that's about all she's going to summon. But anyway, but great character. So this is a great step. This point right here, this is a great place to get started. But he really expands the universe. And this one here. All right, Full Moon. All right, now Full Moon. Basically, werewolves. People start turning up dead. Karen consults with him, and he discovers pretty quick that what they're dealing with is werewolves, but they're not like true werewolves. They're like magic werewolves. They're people that are faking being a werewolf. Right there you go. But there is a super werewolf, an actual werewolf that also shows up around this time that he has to deal with. But so the second one, there's a lot of other things that kind of get clarified in the second one. Some really interesting dynamics start showing up. But then you got to the third one, Grave Peril. Now this one he has to deal with vampires. So this one he has to deal with vampires. In this world, there's like different courts of vampires. The vampires that we're familiar with, or like the lore that we're familiar with, lycanthropy, right? There you go. But the vampires we're familiar with are like they're called the Black Court. Okay, the undead vampires that sleep during the day, and they're sensitive to religious art, things like that. And they're also powerful and strong and fast. And they also turn people by drinking their blood or whatever. Those are the Black Court vampires. But he also has two other courts of vampires. The red courts, which are kind of like the vampires that turn into gigantic bats. And they're like shapeshifters. And they're like really sexy until you see them in their true form. And it's like, whoa, you know. But this one, primarily, he's dealing with the vampires. But it starts out with a ghost story. He's dealing with ghosts being showing up and being agitated. He doesn't know why. Then he also deal with there's a third group of vampires. They're called the White Court. And the White Court are what you would call what would you call them? Succubus. The succubi. They basically are the sexy, absorb life force through skin contact, and they're involved in a lot of that stuff. But he runs into one named Thomas, who has a really strange kind of like connection to him. He doesn't understand. I'm not going to spoil it who Thomas is, but that's part of it. But anyway, so this one deals with kind of like vampires. So what we got so far? We got rogue wizards, got vampire werewolves, and now we got vampires. Okay. So that's just the first three. That's just the first 3 books. Okay. And then we get to Summer Night, and now he's dealing with the Fae. Okay. So now he's dealing with the Fae, which is the Unseelie and the Seelie Fae, the Summer Court, the Winter Court. It's kind of like a Celtic lore, whatever. Turns out that his mother had deep connections with the Fae, and so he winds up getting pulled into something. And this is a really good one. But this starts out kind of like a murder mystery, because somebody has murdered somebody from the Summer Court, and he's got to basically, the Winter Court is like, you either solve this or it's your ass. And so that's basically a murder mystery, this one. But it's also dealing with the Fae, dealing with the magic users on that level. The Fae get bigger and bigger as this guy. Just 4 books. And then we get this one, Death Masks. And here, this has to deal with these dark creatures, like called the Denarians. You also found the to the cross, and you find out one of his friends is named Michael Carpenter, is a Knight of the Cross, and they're like the old school. I guess you would call them kind of like the Crusaders, kind of like that. But they actually have like these these swords that are kind of like have sacred objects like embedded in them, and they operate, under orders of the church, and what they're fighting is people called the Denarians. And it's 12 pieces of silver that Judas used to betray Christ, and all 12 of them have like a demon in them, and people take up these coins, and they become a demonic, like a hybrid human demonic creature, and the worst of the worst is one named Nicodemus, and then so this one kind of like becomes a good versus evil, light versus dark, kind of like angels versus demons, and so that's just the 5th book. Okay, so this is just 5 books in, guys. This is just 5 books in, and Harry's in the middle of all this stuff. He's right in the middle of all of it. And then this one here, Blood Rat. So this one is basically this is dealing with his Thomas. He's kind of like gets involved with this Thomas character and finally finds out who he is, and gets involved with some vampire politics, which is like, you think politicians are bad? You think DC politics are bad? You ain't seen nothing till you get with immortal beings, centuries old, jockeying for power. And Harry winds up back right in the middle of it because there's a curse that's been leveled on some people that are dying from horrific accidents. And so he, in the course of investigating that, he gets right in the middle of a power struggle. But so that one there, that's a good one. It's kind of like a step down, though. It's not as good as some other ones. But this one here, Deadbeat. This one deals with zombies, necromancers, and and also he winds up having to call in the wardens on his behalf, and he winds up having to take up the mantle of wardens, which is the people that have been trying to cut his head off. So he's not very happy about having to be one. But they're so short-handed because that's third book kicked off a war with the Red Court vampires, and the war is like there's a lot of people that are like going after them, bloodsuckers. Right there, you go. Well, in that case, it's soul suckers. The White Court are soul suckers, but yeah, but so this is kind of like this. There's like a prevailing, you got the immediate story, and then you have a wider story. And this one here, there's a what the necromancer trying to take over, and basically the person that who's like orders that they're following happens to be Bob's old boss, and so he's got to deal with Bob, maybe going bad, which is very terrifying. Soul drinkers, right? Yeah, right. Yeah. So this one here, this is if you like zombie stories, necromancy, things like that. That's just book 6 right there. This is one of my favorite, actually. This is one of my favorites. Meanwhile, there's a coroner, a night coroner named Butters, who Jim Butcher has often said is kind of his stand-in. It's his way of writing himself into the books. And when they did the television show, Butters was played by Jim Butcher. And so it's kind of funny because he put himself in the series using this character named Waldo Butters. And it's part of the tapestry of this series, okay? It's all these minor characters, and you come to love these minor characters just as much as you do Harry or anybody else. Because Jim can write a minor character maybe better than anybody I've ever seen. This is the tapestry, and then it builds. You got characters that kind of float in and out, and then you got characters that show up a lot, like Mac from McNally's. Butters becomes Captain Chaos. Well, let's just say that Butters kind of gets put through his paces in the course of the series. I'll just say that. But Butters is a cool guy. He's a big polka aficionado, and believe it or not, that comes in handy. All right. So this one here, this is proven guilty. Okay. So this one here is he has to basically, the big thing that's hanging over his head, the doom of Damocles. He, as a warden, he has to deal with the situation where somebody gets in over their heads using magic, and it turns out to be somebody near and dear to him, and so things get awkward. Okay, but the very important character for the rest of the series kind of shows up in this one. She's been in the series all along, but this one she kind of gets upgraded to being like really, really important. So okay, I might be thinking of the wrong Butters. He doesn't move to South Park, Colorado. No, he doesn't. That's the wrong Butters. This is Waldo Butters from the Harry Dresden series. So, as a matter of fact, I know for a fact that Matt and Trey love Harry Dresden series and probably got that name from Harry Dresden. They have the Harry Dresden series. Anyway, I mean, it's just shocked me that nobody voted for Harry Dresden, and that. I mean, I just don't think people. This series is so damn good. I mean, it's an amazing series. And there's like 18 books of it. And he's closing in on finishing the series out, so it's not like a Game of Thrones situation. But Proven Guilty is actually the first book of the Dresden series, Dresden Files series I read. And after I read this, I was like, holy crap. And I went to Barnes & Noble and cleaned them out. I bought like everything they had, and I went reading through, just burning through them. And then I found the series, and the series was real good too. So, yeah, White Knight. So this is going right back into dealing with the White Court again, and Laura Wraith. The succubus, who basically, she really bothers him on a very important level. He knows she's scary, he knows she's a bloodsucker, and he knows she wants to suck his soul out, but she's like she hits like all of his buttons, and Laura Wraith, and Thomas has some really important things happen in this series with Thomas. But this is the White Court. This is like a book about the White Court situation. And it's got a lot of really cool little things. You find out that he's got an army too. The Law Lord. The Law Lord's Guard. There's this little fairy tutu who he basically he used to like trick with pizza to give information to be kind of like collecting information, but in this one he finds out that they formed called the Za Lord's Guard. In other words, and so he feeds them pizza, and they have their fealty is to him. And so he kind of has his own army of fairies, and and he kind of like, this book is kind of the first time you see that. And anyway, small favor, this one here, the Denarians return, and it gets really, 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 really. There's also another creature that shows up, Ivy. And Ivy is the archive. Okay, she's like the wizard's version of Bob, except she is born with all the knowledge, all the magical knowledge of every wizard that's come before. And but her mother was supposed to be the archive, but her mother committed suicide, and it passed down to this little girl. And so you also find out about Kincaid, the one that's like her bodyguard, and he is one of the scariest characters in the whole entire book. They call him the Hellhound, and he's supposed to be mortal, but he is so scary that the immortals worry about him. But he protects Ivy, is her name, and Harry is the first one to treat her like a little girl. Everybody else treats her like an archive or whatever, like a human And but the Denarians want control of her, and so Harry has to save her from the Denarians. This is one of my favorite ones because the Billy Goat's Gruff show up in this one, and there's a heck of a twist in it. It's just hilarious. But the Gruffs turn out to be pretty serious. They turn out to be pretty serious. But anyway, this is one of my favorite ones. Small favor. Now, Turncoat. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of like betrayals that are happening within the wizard court, and the red vampires have been getting a lot of inside information, and in this one you find out who's been feeding the information, and but they bring Harry in to investigate because a senior council member is murdered. And so it's like another murder mystery, but they bring Harry in to investigate because they acknowledge that Harry is the only one that has investigation skills. And so this is like a murder mystery, and a lot of things get like clarified in this one. And anyway, this is a really good mystery on this one. Now. I'm going to stop at this one here. Because this is the... after this one, the series goes in an entirely different direction. This is like the one that changes everything. And tell you much more beyond this one would spoil the series ongoing. Because so much happens in this one that changes everything. I mean, the book, the title, it was really legitimate. And so I'm not going to tell you much, anything beyond this one. But this one here, this is like, a lot of people jumped off. A lot of people thought that the series had kind of like changed so far that they could no longer follow it after this. But then he also picked up new people. And after this one, the more intimate stories kind of gave way to bigger, grander arcs. And the storytelling really expanded. And a lot of things that you were familiar with, you were comfortable with, change after this one. Now, some people, this is a jumping off point. Some people think that he just went to another level after this one. But there's really nowhere in between after this one. So those are the books. I recommend everything. I recommend the whole series. He just put out one called 12 Months. The next one, Mirror, is going to be the finale. I haven't gotten 12 Months yet, but I've gotten everything up to there, as you can see. I went to hardcover after a while. I just couldn't wait for things to hit paperback. After all, the Skin Game, I did get in paperback, but for the most part, I got everything in hardcover from that point on. And I'll probably get 12 Months in hardcover. Heck yeah, knowledge is power. Right, yeah. Well, if you're curious about the television show, right now, you can just watch it all today. I think there's 12 episodes, maybe 10. I think there's 12. I think there's 10 that originally showed on television, and there's 12 that actually had the can. And the first season's a complete arc. And so it's really good. I enjoy it. I go back and rewatch it all the time. I actually did a Is It Good on it before on my channel. But here is the here's the opening. There you go. Now, I think his name is Harry Blackstone, maybe. I'm not sure what his name is, but that particular actor, you've seen him in a lot of stuff. He's a good actor, and he's tall enough to be a Harry. Harry is tall and gangly, so he's probably built more muscular than Harry is supposed to be. But take it in. But I really, the series doesn't go, they didn't have like the budget to really go as far as they wanted to go, and you could tell that they, after the pilot, they gave them like almost a minuscule budget, so they had to do what they could do. But they did something interesting with Bob in that series, and a lot of people don't like it. But I really love Bob in this series because Bob is like, well, let me play this right quick.
Uncle Justin, is that real?
That, Harry, is your new teacher. His name is Rothbard of Bainbridge. His soul was damned for eternity, trapped inside his own skull.
What did he do?
Rothbard of Bainbridge, I summon you.
That's he's played by Terrence Mann. He's pretty much big on Broadway. He was Rum Tum Tigger in the Cats, the original Cats cast. But don't hold that against him. Don't hold that against him. But he's really funny. He's really good. He's really sarcastic, and he has in the books, Bob kind of like reading for him like literature is the same as reality, and so he likes romance novels, and he's a bit of a horn dog. But they kind of like did something similar to that. This Bob actually is a romantic. As a matter of fact, that's how he got in trouble. That's how he got cursed into the skull. Was that failed romance or whatever? Fell in love with the wrong woman. But in this one, he's kind of like he's a big soap opera guy, and he's always like Harry has to leave the soap opera alone so Bob can watch it. Hold on a second. Anyway. Come on, StreamYards. Let me see it. Anyway. There we go. I remember seeing and hearing about Dresden Files in the media. Part 1, right? Well, they pushed it. It was weird. It's a sci-fi channel show, okay? And sci-fi had a bad tendency to get really good IPs and advertise the crap out of them, but then give them a minuscule budget, and then yank them almost immediately. I mean there's a whole graveyard of really incredible shows that were on Sci-Fi Channel that didn't make it past the season, or even didn't even make it to a season. And then you watch them now, and they're just like, holy crap, this was good. But they Sci-Fi Channel just didn't know what they had, and they didn't commit to anything. But they would grab these great IPs like Dresden Files, and then they wouldn't commit to it enough money for them to do what they could possibly do. Good news is that Jim Butcher is involved with a possible series that's coming to streaming very soon. Hopefully, it'll be more. They'll have a bigger budget, and they'll let him do more of what the series is capable of. Let me see here. He's a wizard, right? Yep. He's a wizard. Yep. And there you go. Oi, you what? Okay, there you go. You went kind of Cockney on us there. But anyway, so the reason I do these shows, if you go back and you look at what I'm doing with these bunny is thinking about, is I am doing my best to give you guys like some of the best, the creme de la creme of what I found. Okay, and this series, the Dresden Files, was Jim Butcher was in school for creative writing, and he was basically told to write his own version of Laura K. Hamilton's Anita Blake series. Now, I've talked about Anita Blake series. That Anita Blake it was an incredible series, and then somewhere along the line, she just took a left turn into smut. I mean, so much smut. I mean, sex scenes that lasted over a chapter. Okay, I mean, way over the board. But up to that point, and I always put the demarcation around Obsidian Butterfly. The Anita Blake series was really good. It was like it took it inspired a lot of people. Like I have a Kim Harrison series over there that's basically inspired by Anita Blake, and it's better. It's better than the Anita Blake series in my opinion. That little kid goes up to him and says, "Oi, you what?" Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right, I missed that. And Dresden Bro is like, nah, dog, you're tripping. Okay. All right, gotcha. I missed that. But the reason why I'm trying to kind of like give you guys something to read is because there is so much good fiction out there, and we don't talk about it with each other. We don't share these things that we found with each other. Dresden Files has got a huge fan base. It's got graphic novels. It's got this television show. It's got another streaming show that may be coming out. I don't know how far along in production they are. And it's got fan movies, fan fiction. You know, I mean, it's now the fan fiction. You have to be careful with fan fiction because you know, I found that the television fan fiction is smuttier than the Now, some of the book fan fiction wants to pair up Harry with Thomas, who happens to be a white court vampire and like a sex on a stick. And so, anyway, like I said, shippers. My gosh, I don't know what's wrong with these women that write shipping stuff. I mean, there's something seriously wrong. Seriously wrong. I mean, golly. I might be misremembering. No, probably not. Anyway, so all these books are available. They're available in your local bookstore. I've got mine out of Barnes & Noble. They're available used. I'm pretty sure they'll be available used. The audiobook is narrated by James Marsters, Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, a great actor, and he does a great job. It's one of the more enjoyable audiobook series that I've got in my library. But the audiobook series is very enjoyable, very well done. And you get this television show. It's free on YouTube, and it's enjoyable. I mean, it's really enjoyable. It has one episode that has like a twist in it that is really, really good. The twist is like really good. It's one of the best episodes of television I think I've ever seen. Writing wise. And it's very good. I believe Nelson Mandela Dimension. I'm not sure what that means. Buffy. Okay. All right. Gotcha. Oh, you mean the Mandela effect. You mean the Mandela effect. Gotcha. Sorry. For those who don't know, the Mandela effect is so many people thought that Mandela died, that when he was discovered to still be in prison, a lot of people in the world were absolutely shocked because they had a very distinctive memory of him dying in prison. And it's a really strange thing. It's almost like a collective, when there's when you have like a collective, everybody thinks that something is a certain way, so clearly that it like alters their memory. What the Mandela effect is. Anyway, it's just Vince over there being cute. But all right, but anyway, so check this out. If you like Gandalf, if you like Doctor Strange, if you like Harry Potter series, this is your next stop. Yeah, this is your next stop. I highly recommend this. And start at the beginning. Start with Stormfront. Everything builds on it. But you can pick up any book out of the series, and it's entertaining. I mean, I started out at book 8, Proven Guilty. I started out with book 8. Got it at the library. I didn't even buy it. I just got it at the library. But then I made sure I got the rest of them. This is a very enjoyable series. Got incredible characters, incredible world building. It's very well written from top to bottom. Harry is one of the best characters in modern literature. I mean, highly, highly recommend the series. Bunny rating, there might be some books that are more like a 4 or 5 bunny rating, but the series overarching, the quality, enjoyability of it, it's a solid 6 character series. And for those of you who were voted in my poll, and Gandalf is awesome, Doctor Strange and Albus Dumbledore are awesome, but you really should know about Harry Dresden. Get on it. If the series comes out, the streaming series comes out, and it's any good, he's gonna be. You're gonna know that name pretty quick. But anyway, so that's just been the Bunny thinking. I've been thinking about Harry Dresden, the Dresden Files today. So I hope that you pick up that series and enjoy it as much as I have. I just want to bring some joy to the world, guys. That's what I'm here for, to share the enjoyment that I have found in my expansive library, So, if you got something that you think I should read, feel free to, hit me up on X. I'm telepathic Bunny on X. Hey, it's a series you might need to check out. I'm always looking for those. I usually will read a series until it goes off the rails. and I'll get every book in it. So that's been Coop from Telepathic Bunny Comics. I will see you next time. So follow the White Rabbit, everybody. Hopefully we'll have something for you on Thursday. We'll find out. But bye, everybody.
Thank you.